Good morning students. This is class 12th maths lecture first of chapter 7th integrals. Today we will study about indefinite integrals. For this we will first understand what is integration. So integration as inverse process of differentiation. Okay, what is differentiation? That a function is given and when you find the derivative of the function, that is derivative of cos x is minus sin x. So finding the derivative of the given function is known as the process of differentiation, right? When function is given, then finding its derivative is the process of differentiation. Integration is inverse of differentiation, that is we are given with the derivative of the function and asked to find the original function. That because integration is the inverse of differentiation, therefore integration is also known as anti-differentiation, right? Now indefinite integral, let fx be a function, then the family of all of its anti-derivatives or integrals is called indefinite integral. What is indefinite integral? If the function is given, then all its anti-derivatives or integrals are known as indefinite integral. I'll explain you this with an example also. For now, see, symbolically we write this is known as integral of fx. Integral of fx with respect to x. This is the sign of the integration. The function which you are integrating is known as integrand and the variable x is known as the variable of integration, because you are integrating fx with respect to the x, right? And this complete is known as the integral. Now see, derivative of sin x is cos x. Derivative of sin x plus 1 is also cos x, because derivative of sin x is cos x and of 1 is 0. Similarly, derivative of sin x is cos x and derivative of 2, because it is constant, so it will be 0. Now these are different functions but their derivatives are same. Now integration of cos x, see, because integration is the inverse process of differentiation, so we will get integration of cos x as sin x, because differentiation of sin x is cos x only, right? But we don't know here that the integration or the function which you got is simply sin x or sin x plus any constant or sin x minus any constant, because the derivatives of all of these functions we can see is cos x, right? Therefore we introduce this c, which is known as constant of integration, right? So integration of cos x is not just written as sin x, but it is written as sin x plus c, right? And that is why indefinite integral includes the family of all of its antiderivatives. Integral of cos x is this, and by putting different values of c you will get different functions, right? Therefore indefinite integral includes the family of all the antiderivatives. Now there are some note that functions with same derivatives differ by a constant. This you can see here only. The functions, these functions have the same derivatives, so they differ by a constant only, right? Because the derivative of constant is 0, right? Now the next is, if integration of fx with respect to x is the capital Fx, then derivative of fx will be this only, right? Now next is just opposite of this. If derivative of fx with respect to x is given as small fx for all x belongs to the interval, here I represents the interval, then integral of fx in I, that is in the given interval, is integration of fx with respect to x, which will be fx plus c, right? Now see the formulas of integrations. So the first is integration of x raised to the power n is equal to x raised to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1 plus c, where n is not equal to minus 1, right? Otherwise this will become minus 1 plus 1 0 in the denominator. Therefore n should not be equal to minus 1. Now why integration of this function is this? Because you know the derivative of this complete function, derivative of this will be x raised to the power n, right? Therefore integration of this is this function plus constant of integration, right? Now you know the derivative of x is 1. Therefore integration of 1 will be x plus constant of integration. Now next is derivative of sin x, you know, is cos x. Therefore integration of cos x will be sin x plus c, right? Because integration is nothing but the antiderivative. Now derivative of cos x is minus sin x. Therefore integration of sin x will be minus cos x plus c. Now derivative of tan x is secant square x. Therefore integration of secant square x is tan x plus c. Now derivative of cot x is minus cosecant square x. Therefore integration of cosecant square x, because we have not taken minus this side, therefore you have to take minus on this side. So integration of cosecant square x with respect to x will be minus cot x plus c, right? Similarly, you know derivative of secant x is secant x into tan x. Therefore integration of secant x into tan x with respect to x is secant x plus c. Now derivative of cosecant x is minus cosecant x into cot x. Therefore integration of cosecant x into cot x is minus cosecant x plus c, right? Similarly, the formula of this integration of 1 upon root 1 minus x square with respect to x is either sin inverse x plus c because of this derivative, or it is equal to minus cos inverse x plus c because of this derivative, right? Derivative of tan inverse x is 1 upon 1 plus x square. Therefore integration of 1 upon 1 plus x square with respect to x will be tan inverse x plus c, or it is equal to minus cot inverse x plus c, because derivative of cot inverse x is minus 1 upon 1 plus x square, right? Now similarly you will get this formula that integration of 1 upon x into root x square minus 1 with respect to x is either secant inverse x plus c or minus cosecant inverse x plus c. We can use any of these formulas according to our need. Now you know derivative of e raised to the power x is e raised to the power x. Therefore integration of e raised to the power x is e raised to the power x plus c. Now derivative of log x is 1. Therefore integration of 1 by x with respect to x is log mod of x plus c. Why mod of x? Because log is not defined for negative values. Now derivative of a raised to the power x, where a is some constant, is equal to a raised to the power x into log a. Therefore integration of a raised to the power x will be a raised to the power x upon log a, right? Because this is constant, you can take it on this side also. So integration of a raised to the power x is a raised to the power x upon log a, right? So you have to learn all of these formulas. Now some properties of indefinite integral. So the first is that derivative of this complete integral is fx, and integral of derivative of fx with respect to x is equal to fx plus c. So for the proof, let capital F be the antiderivative of the function given, right? Therefore integral of fx with respect to x will be f of x plus c, right? Because this we have assumed that antiderivative or the integral of f is the capital F, right? Now, because integral of fx is this capital F, therefore the derivative of this capital F will be the function, right? Now we want to show this thing. Therefore, taking the left hand side, now this is equal to derivative of integral of fx is fx plus c, and now derivative of fx, capital Fx is small fx, and derivative of c is a constant, so derivative of c will be 0, right? Therefore, we got this result that derivative of the integral fx with respect to x is nothing but fx only, right? And similarly, you will get this result that integral of derivative of fx is nothing but fx plus c. Second is that integral of fx plus gx with respect to x is equal to integral of fx with respect to x plus integral of gx with respect to x, right? That is, you can differentiate the integral on addition or on subtraction. Now for any real k, integration of k into fx with respect to x is equal to k into integration of fx into dx. That is, if k is any constant, then you can take out k from the integral. Clear? For example, if you have to find the integral of 2 cos x with respect to x, so take out 2 common from the integral. So you will get 2 into integral of cos x into dx. Now this is 2 integral of cos x is sin x plus c. Now combining the second and third property, you will get this fourth property, which says that the integral of k1 into f1 plus k2 into f2 and so on plus kn into fn is equal to k1 into integral of f1 plus k2 into integral of f2 and so on plus kn into integral of fn, where k1, k2, kn are the constants and f1, f2 up to fn are the functions of x, right? Now we'll discuss some of the questions of integrals. So you have to find the integral of 3x square plus 4x cube. So integral of this can be written as, using the fourth property, 3 into integral of x square plus 4 into integral of x cube. Now you know the formula of integral of x raised to the power n, which is x raised to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. So it will be 3 into integral of x square will be, in place of n put 2. So you will get x raised to the power 2 plus 1, which is x cube, upon 2 plus 1, which is 3, right? Plus 4 into, now in place of n put 3. So you will get x raised to the power 3 plus 1, which is 4, upon 4. Cancel out this 3 and cancel out 4. So you will get x cube plus x raised to the power 4 plus c. You always have to introduce this constant of integration, right? Now next is find the integral of cos 2x. Now see, we know the derivative of sin x is cos x, right? Now derivative of sin 2x will be cos 2x. You will apply the chain rule here. So cos 2x into derivative of 2x. So derivative of 2x is 2 into cos 2x. Therefore, you will get the integration of cos 2x as sin 2x upon 2 plus c, right? So this gives the other formulas, that integral of cos ax with respect to x is equal to sin ax upon a plus c. While differentiating, you multiply with the constant which is with the x. In integration, we divide with the constant which is with the x, right? Similarly, sin ax, integral of sin ax will be minus cos ax upon a plus c, right? Now, integral of e raised to the power ax with respect to x is equal to e raised to the power ax upon a plus c, right? Divide it with the constant which is multiplied with the x, right? Now see, for example, if you have to find the integral of e raised to the power minus 2x with respect to x, so it will be e raised to the power minus 2x upon minus 2 plus c. Clear? Now you already know the integral of x raised to the power n, which is equal to x raised to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. So integral of this ax plus b whole raised to the power n with respect to x will be equal to, see, in place of x here it is ax plus b. So it will be ax plus b whole raised to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. But a is multiplied with x. So divide this complete with a, right? So integral of this is ax plus b whole raised to the power n plus 1 upon a into n plus 1, right? But here inside the bracket you can apply this formula if the power of the x is 1, right? Otherwise you will not apply it. Now derivative of, see how this happened, because the derivative of ax plus b whole raised to the power n plus 1 is n plus 1 into ax plus b whole raised to the power n into derivative of the term ax plus b. So you will get n plus 1 into ax plus b whole raised to the power n into derivative of this is a, right? Therefore we get the integration of this as ax plus b whole raised to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1 into a, because these two will go this side in the denominator, right? Now for example, find 2x plus 5 whole raised to the power 5. So it will be 2x plus 5 whole raised to the power 6, because it is n plus 1, here n is 5, so n plus 1 is 6 upon 6 into a, here a is 2 plus c. So you will get 2x plus 5 whole raised to the power 6 upon 12 plus c. Now the next question is, find the integral of x cube minus 1 upon x square with respect to x. So first of all divide the numerator with x square. So you will get x minus 1 by x square into dx. That is, you have to integrate this value with respect to x. So it is basically equal to integral of x minus integral of 1 by x square, which is x raised to the power minus 2. Now integral of this will be x raised to the power n plus 1, and here is 1, so it will be n1 plus 1, that is 2. So x raised to the power 2 upon 2 minus x raised to the power minus 2 integral will be x raised to the power minus 2 plus 1 upon minus 2 plus 1 plus the constant of integration. So you will get x square by 2 plus x raised to the power minus 1, because this will be minus 2 plus 1, which is minus 1, and here in the denominator it will be minus 1, and also minus is here, so it will become plus c. So this is the integral of this function. So your homework is you have to learn the formulas and do question 1 to 9 of exercise 7.1. Okay, thank you.